Hi guys, I'm Jen. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to do a video about, I think it's like the best way to put it would be like the misconceptions of spirituality. And so while I like to pull cards, I like to use cards as customers and client stories, like because I don't have clients and customers. And to be honest, right now, what I've experienced makes it really hard to be around people like one-on-one, just because of the large amount of abuse I've experienced at the hands of people. And so like for just whatever reasons, right? Like they felt the need to abuse me in different ways, where it's just like it makes it hard to be around people right now. And so that's why I actually really enjoy cards and things like that. And it's not actually how I make my decisions. It's nice to get a confirmation, but it's really hard to trust, obviously, because they're cards and it's energy and it's for anyone's interpretation, much like the Bible or the world and what life is about in general, right? So I've done a reading, and I remember I think it was like I don't know if it was Aquarius. It's maybe one of the last three of the zodiacs that I did, where I'll start reading the energy and it starts out kind of shitty and it's really good, and it says like you've done the work, now you just have to relax, or now you have to just like it's time to balance your work with some play. Like in order to bring in what you want, it's important to like bring in some play and joy in order to work out that overworking, because you'll burn out. And so that sounds, in the message, it comes across like, okay, I could do that. That sounds all right. That makes sense. And good things are coming soon, right? And I don't know. I'm just paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly. I don't remember a lot of the readings after I do them, to be honest with you. So that's another challenge I have because I have short-term memory. But I remember this. I remember this because I feel like I can relate to it, because I feel like I've put so much work in, and it feels like there should be something coming in at some point soon because of how much work I put in. But I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. And that's why I don't use cards to tell me like what's coming up and when, because I don't know where I'm at on the ability to put what am I trying to say? So like, okay, so like learning how to balance work and play. Well, I struggle with that because I don't know how to play. I only know how to work. I don't know, like I have an idea of joy and what I think it feels like, but at the same time, like for me, it's really hard to fake it. And I think some people who are in spirituality will say we have to pretend like it's already there. I struggle with that. That doesn't feel authentic to me, and it can feel a little bit delusional at the same time, because it's like, you know what, I know I've done a lot of work, so yeah, that makes sense. I got to bring in some joy, bring in some play. But then today I'm like, okay, like I've done my videos. I was really tired, like I'm struggling with my energy again. And I also feel like it's because I'm coming up to one of those periods in time where I don't know where the money's coming from, and I'm probably gonna have to go back into the 9 to 5. And I feel like there's plenty of jobs, and sometimes there's not anymore. But I assume that I can get a job where I get next to nothing for my pay, unfortunately, and like that's what I've had to do in the past. And if that's what I have to do, that's what I'll do. It feels frustrating though, because it's like it feels like it's undoing all the work that I've had to do. Now I've learned how to look at situations differently emotionally, so I think that will help me when I go back into there. But the problem I'm having is like, so when you get off one of these readings where it's like you've done the work, you just gotta have joy, have play, good things are coming, it can really get you in that positive mindset, which feels wonderful. But remember we talked about the fluctuating of the emotions? Sometimes that can be detrimental, because you're like it's good, it's happening, I'm doing everything I can, and then like you try to bring in that extra piece of the puzzle, which is joy and play, and you're like, okay, I don't know how to do that. I literally don't know how to do that, and that is required for me to become prosperous, like to bring in money. So now it's kind of like don't get, like, I understand the importance of balancing your work life with play, because that's the whole point of why you're doing this, right? But the challenge for me has been like, okay, so I do the work, I hustle, I grind, I'm creating content, I'm uploading, I'm editing, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm aware that I'm probably gonna have to get a 9 to 5 soon, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, like I'm trying to load up my videos before I have to like, you know, kind of stretch out how often I can create content. When that time comes, that's my expectation. Like, I don't expect that I can get a YouTube channel up and running and successful within a matter of weeks or a month. That seems unrealistic to me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm getting things stacked in there. And that makes sense. And I'm trying to build momentum, and I've got something in my eye. And so the challenge I'm having is like, okay, so like I understand I'm going to be coming up to a period of time where I'm going to be working a lot more, right? And so I am resting right now because I'm aware. But at the same time, it's like, so when I go to try to bring in that joy and play, I don't know how to do that. So like I used to play the game Brawlers, and I used to play with my son, and I enjoyed it to a certain point. But the thing is, I don't really enjoy, like I enjoy playing games with my son, period. I like that part. But like he's not on there anymore, and it's kind of like, man, I don't mind it. But like if you really gave me choice of what I'd rather be doing right now, it would not be playing video games. That video game, that's not what I want. Like it's really challenging when your house is in a mess and unfinished, and like there's a lot of things missing, and then you're just told to go play, and it's kind of like, okay, I get the point of it. I get like you need to get yourself out of that work mode, but the problem is that point that aspect of my life has not changed, and I don't see that changing in a long time. I don't see me bringing a person into my life for a long period of time. I need to get my finances stable before that can happen, right? Before I even think of like friends or I don't even, honestly at this point, the prospects out there of a partner make me feel like that's off the table. It's not that I'm not on an extremist of like all men are bad. Like that's not where that's going. I think there's a lot of men out there that don't think they need to change, even while they're becoming uncomfortable. It's just not something I'm expecting. I don't expect it. I just don't see high prospects for it. So like what I need to be in a partner, I just don't see it out there. Now I'm also not at my best point right now either. So but I mean, that's what I mean. That's why it's not something I'm looking for or expecting or even willing to bring into my life, because like I feel challenged being around people, because the people that I've experienced have made it really hard to just be my full version. And so I'm trying to pull myself into my full version, but the challenging part is a lack of finances, you know, and like feeling like you have to go back to a room and dim your light again is challenging, you know. And like, yes, I can work my emotions around it. I can, you know, change the perspective, but here's the thing. This is what I'm trying to get at. There's spiritual, and this is my point of view. This is what I've experienced. There's certain spiritual advice out there, and I don't know where it comes from, because like me being in this position right now, I just don't. And so maybe it's about like I can sit outside and I can enjoy my garden. I enjoy that. Is that joy and play? I like playing sports, you know. It is. That's what I mean. It's really challenging, because it's like if I was to be completely honest, like what I want to do is I want to play sports. I like playing sports. I want to ride my bike, but both my bikes are broken and I have no money. I have rollerblades, but I really don't love rollerblades. I like the idea of rollerblades because I can like they're great for my body and my muscles. You know, they're great for toning. You know, it can be fun, but it's not something I want to do all the time. I mean, I fell and I wiped out like 3 times, which is fine, but I was just like, do I even like rollerblading? You know, so it's like it's this processing is like getting me to think like what I really enjoy doing, which I think that's valuable. But at the same point, when you experience this boredom and like and nothing changing, like you're doing all the work, but nothing in your environment is really matching the amount of work it feels like you've put in, that is a very other side of the spectrum of like, yeah, things are changing. You're gonna, you know, you just got to do this, and it's just like, this is where it feels a bit like false hope, because it's like I have to stay in touch with reality and understand like, while I'm seeing growth in my channels, that's wonderful, but I still don't have money. And for me, money is the motivator at this point, because money feels like, well, it was my perspective and my lack of education as to why people were treating me a certain way, because I was acting and behaving as prey, and predators were picking that up. So I understand that. But going back into an environment to do something that I don't love and getting paid peanuts for it, it's something I'm trying to digest, because the thing is, I know how to work. I've been working. I've been doing everyone else's job for God knows how long. And I haven't received anything for that. And you won't, right? You don't. There's nothing, I can't pull blood from a stone. That's not happening. And that's what I mean by like relying on karma is a false expectation as well. Because what do you think karma is going to do? You think that's going to like recover what was lost? And there's also like the expectation that spirituality says, don't worry, like, I think this is another misconception. I feel like, don't worry, you'll get tenfold of whatever was taken from you. And it's like, I'm not seeing that. Like, I don't know where you guys, I don't know where people are pulling this from, because like, I'm doing the work. I'm still doing the work. I'm still putting in the work. And the work that I'm putting in is the work that I did before I got on camera. So like, I did work off camera, and now I'm applying it to the camera. And so like, all this time I've still been working. And so I think what I'm trying to put out there is like, people are talking about karma and getting dharma, and I just don't see it, because like, I'm still working my ass off. And to me, and my expectation, that karma balancing out would be like, those people just came out of my lane and did whatever they wanted to do with no thought to it. So my dharma should come effortlessly without me having to work. Like, so I'm still working, so that's not dharma. I'm still paying my bills. That's coming from my pocket. That's coming from my RSPs. That's not coming from anybody else. So like, where is that sort of balancing out? And I just wonder sometimes, like, who made up these spiritual belief systems, and where exactly were they coming from? And I think it applies to certain people. Some people can say that, like, work balance. Like, I remember hearing someone like, speaking on that, like, balance your workout. Life is meant to be balanced, where you can have work and play. Like, that's what I'm working towards, is so I can spend more time on things that I enjoy, and less working. Like, but I didn't like that job at the time. Like, if I like what I'm doing, I don't mind working. But I also want the other side of the coin, which is the receiving. And so I'm not receiving for what I've put out, and that can get frustrating. That can be, and so that's what I think is like, what I struggle with, because I feel like I'm sitting outside enjoying my garden, and that's wonderful, but like, I can see the weeds which are there, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to worry about that. That's cool. I can put that off, because the bigger they get, the easier they are to pull, right? And I think I consider it kind of like cover crop, and I think it's good for the soil to like create drainage and stuff like that. And so I'm not necessarily concerned about that, but what I am concerned about is like, if certain things, if I leave them too long because I'm joy and playing and I'm not working, like, that's how I get overwhelmed. And that's the problem in the first place, is I don't have anyone to support me. I don't have help. I don't have, like, I have to cut the grass. I have to clean the house. I have to fix the house and repair it. And I have to walk the dogs, and I have to feed the dogs, and I have to pay for the food. And then I also have to like try to create a business from a trauma place, and then the advice, like, it's just not hitting, because it's like, okay, experience joy and play now. Like, make sure you take joy and play into time. And you know what I do when I do that, like, what I enjoy is like, things that make me laugh. I love to laugh. So I try to add things that make me laugh. I try to add, like, I like baby videos, toddler videos, when they're like, I could watch babies for days. They're just fucking hilarious. I'm just so curious, and they're so funny what they do. They're bobbly, right? So I enjoy things like that. But here's the thing, is like, and I enjoy walking. So even if I don't want to rollerblade, but I don't mind walking, but now I'm kind of bored of walking, because that's all I've been doing is walking. I don't have my bike. And I thought, I'll try rollerblading. And I don't really, it's not hitting like I thought it would. It's like, and I was doing it for the wrong reasons, like, because I want to get exercise. But not in that place right now to exercise. It's not my exercising era. Like, it just isn't. Because I've got too much else going on, and I have to start removing things because I'm starting to feel, you can probably hear it in my voice, I'm starting to feel the overwhelm and the overwork. So I have to remove some of these things, but I'm also trying to find out, like, what do I enjoy doing? Like, I enjoy decorating my house. My house is not as I would, if I had a choice, this is not what I would choose. So it's really hard to, and I'm not missing the point of the exercise. Like, it's a mental, mind strengthening exercise where, like, what can I do about it? Like, so I'm sitting in the garden and I'm like, okay, so you're sitting out here, it's not really hitting, you know, like you're in your garden. You can't be around like, I'm at a point where I'm like, I just haven't reached the other side yet, and I'm at a point where I really don't feel like I want to have people in my space at this point, you know. I don't feel safe and secure quite yet. And so it's just me, myself, and I. And, like, while I have my kids, like, they're in their 20s, they're doing their own thing too. They're not, you know, attached to the hip, and that makes sense. And I don't expect that. And so it's left me in this space where it's just kind of like, you know, I have a long list in my mind of things I could do to get done. Like, it's not like there's a shortage of things to be done, but the concept is I'm supposed to be bringing more joy and play into my life because I'm overworked and my system is overworked. But then when I try to do that now, it just makes me, it takes away that good feeling of the idea of joy and play, because I'm like, okay, what's my joy and play? What is it? You know, I used to like doing crafts. I don't like doing crafts anymore. That was productivity, you know? It's like creating something and doing something for the creation. So, like, for me, joy and play says I'm going to do something and there's no expectations of an outcome, and there's no expectations of, like, a product at the end of it, right? Like, when I watch a video and it's funny, I don't have to do anything. I just get to sit here and enjoy that activity. That's joy and play. So how do I have joy and play? Like, I don't want to just sit on the couch watching videos. Like, I'm trying to get off the screen. So, like, joy and play, I mean, yeah, like, I could go hit a tennis ball against the wall. But do you see, I'm just kind of like, man, like, I'd rather sit than go do that. You know? So it's kind of like, is this like, I'm supposed to force myself? Because now it feels like work, and I don't want to fall back into that freeze state of where I'm feeling overwhelmed because, like, now I'm overworking my system doing something I really don't want to do, which that was something in the past where I was doing things I didn't want to do and I was still doing it. So it kind of feels very similar. And even though it's for a different, you know, coming from a different avenue, and it's meant to be for me, it still doesn't feel for me because in reality, it's not really what I want. And so I pulled a card, and it's, the card is like, what is it? Extreme acceptance or something like that. Let me get the card that I pulled for myself. Hold on. Perfect acceptance. Number 29, which is number 11, right? And look, she's like literally being buried alive. It looks like the things are growing over her while she sits there. And then there's like one little rose right here, you know? One little golden rose. And it's kind of like, yeah, like I'm out of shape. I don't have energy to work out again. And I don't know the exact reasons. But I have an idea because I'm feeling a period of time coming up where it's like one of those trust falls, which I fucking hate. And yeah, I fucking hate them. I hate them. I think you're allowed to hate spirituality. That's what I'm saying here. Like, I don't know who came up with these ideas, but I just don't know that they've been where I've been. And that could sound very like arrogant. I'm aware. But when you're in it, and I'm just like, I think it's important to speak on these things. And I'm sure I'm just like, you know, purging some of this stuff, and I'm feeling frustrated, which means I'm impatient. I'm impatient. You're right, I am. Of course I'm impatient. I've been used and abused all my life. All the work I put into all these projects, nothing's come of it. And now I'm just supposed to joy and play. Like, make it make sense. It just, And I'm sure, I know there's something on the other side of this, and I know I just need to vent this and get it out, but it fucking sucks. And you know the benefit of this? This is the benefit. I'm I'm taking, and I take this often because, and I have to be careful with this because I don't want to go into the hateful heart, right? But I think it's important to be aware of like, I'm here because I made a bunch of bad decisions repeatedly, right? And some of them I didn't know I was doing it as I was doing it. And like, I ignored common sense because I wanted what I wanted when I wanted for all the wrong reasons. Things that were out of my control at the time, you know? And so it's just really frustrating when you get here. And it reminds me of why I never want to reconnect with people from my past, because it's just, um, well, it's my responsibility. It just feels, I don't know, it just feels like um, the people that came out of their lane into mine, it really fucked with my finances. Is it part of the process? I'm sure it is. Right now, I really don't care. You know, I really don't care. I really don't care. Um, and I know I'll get through this, and I'll recognize, you know what, okay, like, you, good things have come from this, you're growing, you're developing, blah, blah, blah. But right now, I don't feel that. And I think that's important to talk about in spirituality, because I think there can be an illusion of like, this is easy, just do this and do that. Like, no, this is not easy. This is hard. And that's why I don't take people back, because honestly, if you recognize like how much shit you have to put yourself through to heal, and how hard it is, nobody's here. Nobody's here helping me with my house. I didn't have support. They didn't want to support. My family did not want to help me support my channel. They didn't want to comment on it. They didn't want to help the algorithm. Like, they didn't want to help unless they were getting something from it. And so like, what I wasn't willing to give them what they wanted, which is the ability to disrespect me and use and abuse me. So I had to disconnect. So that's where it's left me, where I'm by myself. And the damage also of that is well, I've had to learn to recognize safe and unsafe people. It's definitely taken a toll on me. Like, it's definitely taken a toll on me. And so this is where it's, maybe I'm recognizing, for me, it's maybe not a time for joy and play. Like, I'm still recovering, which scares the shit out of me, because I'm coming up to a period of time where I have to go back in to the 9 to 5. And people are like, well, can't you just get disability? Can't you just go get, no, like, I can't. It's not, every time I try to reach for that type of support outside of myself, it feels like I'm being shut down. Like, it's because I don't look like what I've been through, you know? And unless I'm like freaking out, or they need to see me in some sort of dramatic state to believe that I've been abused and used, and that it has affected me negatively. Like, if I'm not showing up like they expect, then they're questioning, like, what have you really been through? And I'm like, well, I'll tell you, but you wouldn't understand it because you haven't been through it. Like, a lot of the people who are diagnosing those people who have been traumatized have not acknowledged or been traumatized. And that's another question where I'm coming into some of the spirituality is being spewed by people who like are being supported by other people who have other means of income. And it made me realize, like, a lot of people just don't give a shit because like they have someone to fall on, they have someone to back them. It's not that deep for them because they have somebody else, like they're codependent on somebody else providing for them. And so me, I'm like, it's me, myself, and I. And like, if I don't make this happen, I'm gonna lose my house. You know what I mean? I'm gonna lose my home. And I have no problem doing the work because I've been doing the work forever and then some, right? It's not the work. It's the fact that when you try to put yourself out there, people target you. And I understand that's part of building resilience, because that's the expectation. Haters are always going to be there. I understand that. But that's not what I'm struggling with. It's the recovery and the rest. And then like the fact that you get to a point where it's like the financial road runs out. Like, I don't want to sell my house. I don't want to live in a van. I don't want to live in a van. That doesn't sound wonderful to me, you know? And some people are like, oh, it's a free life on the road, freedom. That's not security to me. Some people love that. That's not my idea of freedom. You know, that's not, that's, I don't look forward, I do want to do more day trips. I don't like the idea of not knowing where I'm going to rest my head and park my, park my potential vehicle. That does not sound wonderful to me. And to be honest, it sounds even worse than this trust fall that I'm coming up to, because like I feel like you're doing the trust fall every couple days. Oh, maybe you'll get used to the trust fall and learn to trust. No, 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 no. Stop. I don't, I know my limits. I'm past my limits. I'm past my point. You know that saying of like they only give you as much as you can handle? I don't believe that shit. I really don't. I really am. I'm really kind of over that saying at this point. I'm really kind of past that. I don't need to keep putting myself in dangerous situations to see how resilient I am. I'm ready for easy. I'm ready for peace. I'm ready for softness. I have been for a while. And that's what it is. I could have started a business making fucking candles and skincare products, and I would have been fine. I don't have to put myself out there to learn hard lessons so I can teach it to other people. You right? Like it's just kind of, I value the lessons. I've learned a lot. Yes, I have. But what I've lost from it is I can't ignore that. It's great to focus on the lessons and blessings. That's wonderful. But I fall back into the frustration of like it sounds good and it feels good in the moment, like I can do this, I can do that, but like maybe I can't do this, and maybe I'm like you know and that's where I go, and I have to, when I go there, I have to pick myself back up. And are there random strangers that will like tell me to keep going? Yeah, but that's like a little puff in the balloon. That's not gonna, I can't rely on everybody else, to keep me going. I got to figure that out for myself, unfortunately. That's frustrating because it's exhausting. Because once again, I've been doing this since childhood. I've been teaching myself. I've been recovering myself. Nobody checked in with me to be like, how are you doing after that? Nobody said, like, how are you? Like, nobody. And so it's like, well, you've gotten good at that. And then, like, so it's like, I'm really good at the work. I'm not so good at the rest and the joy and the play. And for me, like what I'm looking is, and then here's another thing too, is like it's not like like a this is where the disconnect is, well, too. It's like it's not like I'm starting a business and I'm struggling. Like, no, I've had to work through the trauma while trying to start a business, while raising kids, while trying to take care of dogs, while trying to renovate a home, while trying to strategically outmaneuver these fuckers that just want to keep coming into my lane. It's a lot. It's too much. It's too much. I don't know what this looks like, because I feel like I've gotten to a point where it's like I love what I do, and it's not that I need to stop doing that, but like I don't know what this is going to look like moving forward. Like if I have to sell my house, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. I've kind of been gotten to that point, like while I understand how much I've gained from like these experiences, it's only because I've chosen to try to look at the brighter side of things. And to me, I think I don't know if there's a brighter side to everything. And I think that's where the acceptance comes in. Is like, this fucking sucks right now. I don't love where I'm at. I'm trying to make the best of it. But that's the same as like I try to make the best of it when I was in these workplaces. So what is the difference right now in what I'm doing? Like, what am I trying to make the best of? Like, it's like a shit sandwich. Like, I'm trying to be like, this tastes good. I think it's important to like let that shit out. Like, I'm not happy with my results. I'm really, and this is where I think people like the gratitude comes in. It's like, I'm grateful. I mean, I had a bunch of strawberries the other day, and in that moment, I was grateful. I don't have any more strawberries, and now you know what I mean. Like, there's nothing incoming. That's the problem. Like, gratitude for what I have, but because I went and got it, but like, there's no receiving coming in. There's no like what I put out there. I'm not receiving anything like an equal give and take for it yet. So it feels like and it's not to say like I expect quick results when I put my content out. That makes sense. That takes time. But what I'm struggling with is the losses I've had up to this point, that I feel like I'm still struggling with that, because it's kind of like yeah, I haven't received any justice towards that. And I don't know that I'm not expecting, it's kind of like I'm not expecting that I ever will. I'm not expecting to receive justice from the people that hurt me. So like that motivates me to, and that really helps me to set my boundaries where I'm just like, I'm not taking, that's why I'm like, I'm not around people right now. People don't feel safe to me. I'm the ones I'm seeing at a distance right now, like those people are like, that's, I can't handle those ones. So to add more people into my life when the ones that are at a distance are acting like feral animals, like, and you want me to bring other people closer, like I understand I have to recognize safe people from unsafe people, but at the same time, like one of the reasons why like I was going to these people were for the wrong reasons because I didn't have what I needed and I wasn't able to provide it for myself. So I'm working on that part right now, but I also feel like I've been targeted because I don't have money. And people think that they can fuck with me because I don't have resources. And that's why a lot of these people came for me too, is like I don't have the legal fees to protect myself in court and to get a lawyer. You know, part of that was personal boundaries and speaking up for myself, but part of that is finances. Finances make the world go round. Finances, if you can get a lawyer, you can protect yourself potentially to a certain degree, right? I am struggling with my finances. And I'm struggling with knowing how to make money. And this is where it's like that joy and play. I don't know if I can rock with that because you know what makes me feel better? As I'm like working this through my mind, I'm like picking up and cleaning up my room because my housekeeping is not what it is. So like for me, joy and play right now looks like taking care of myself, like cleaning my house because that makes me feel good. It may not be joy and play, but it makes me feel good. And when I'm organized, I know where to find things and I can do what I want to do. And so like for me, that's what joy and play is right now: organizing, cleaning. Sometimes it is self-care. Does that suck? That's pretty sad that my joy and play is cleaning my house. That kind of sucks, don't you think? After everything that you've done in your life, your joy and play is cleaning your house and cooking meals. Don't get me wrong, there's a value in that. I understand that, but there's also like, that's sad. That's something to grieve. That's a grieving point right there, is the fact that at this point in life, after all you've done, after all the effort you've put into things, this is where I am. That's, you can hear it in my voice. This is, I'm disappointed. I'm not, like, I'm disappointed in the people. And I think this is where it needs to, like, the reality check. Like, it's okay to be disappointed in, like, outside sources. I'm sure they have a plan. I can see how I've been brought to this point. But the fucking process sucks. And I don't know that people talk about, like, just saying healing is hard doesn't really cover all of this. It doesn't really cover it. It's fucking hard. It sucks. It's lonely. And while I'm better off without those people, that doesn't mean that I still don't want people in my life. I just want people that don't require the ability to hurt me in order to be connected with me, you know? And it's frustrating too because it feels like the longer I'm alone and going without, it feels like they've won in some sort of way, like they've accomplished something. You know, like, look, we got her down. She's down and out. Like she's trying to get back up, but like she's struggling. I can see that. I am struggling. And I think it's gross that there's people that are that you know what, that the acknowledgement that the people of my past love the struggle. They love watching me struggle. That made them feel big. That made them feel good. Watching me struggle. That's gross. That's pretty gross. So I'm processing all this in real time. It's frustrating. I love my garden, but it's unfinished and it's hard to, like, I try to focus on the blooms, which are beautiful. When I kind of relate it to like me and my experience, what I'm going through, because it's like the garden is beautiful, the plants in the garden are beautiful, but like I haven't finished the stonework. It's not what I want. It's not like, and I understand like you can't have everything that you want all at once, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I understand. See, this is where the spirituality and like even like life lessons come in. It's not that I can understand, you know, it takes time to accumulate things. That's not what I'm talking about here. I have worked my ass off and been removed. Things have been removed from me. you know? And like, I'm aware some of these are from my own bad decisions. I get it. I get it. I did things to try to receive love for the wrong reasons, from the wrong people, from the wrong environments. And because I couldn't see my own value, I gave of myself where I shouldn't have. I get that. But this is what isn't talked about. Like, it's like, that's like I have to forgive myself. I can do that. I can be like, you know what? But like, now I'm in it and I'm disappointed. And I don't think I'm necessarily taking it out on me. I don't think that's, it's kind of like I'm just, ugh. It's like, you know, when you see the picture of a food item, you know, like, you know, McDonald's shows you like the burger, and then you actually go up to the window and you pay like 20 bucks for a combo, and you get soggy cold fries, and you get this squished tiny shitty burger that tastes like, it doesn't even taste like meat anymore. The cheese isn't real, you know, and they showed you something and you got like, okay, this is, you know, I did the work, but this is what I received. I paid the money and this is what I received. Like, I'm disappointed. I didn't think it would look like this. I don't know what it would look like, but I didn't think it would look like this. And I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged when working through the pain and the process and the grieving. It's just like, and that's part of the, like, this is not what I expected. And this is where I get challenged. Like, I love the tarot community. I love playing with cards. It's a fun hobby. And while I think it can be useful in some ways, it can also be very damaging because it'll get you so high in spirits and like, I'm positive, I'm going to do this. But then it's like, okay, but like, where are the results? You know, like, I'm doing this, I'm doing my part. I did my part. Where? It's like, you know, the trust falls that you manage to like recover by yourself. And like, you're kind of like, well, I don't know if that was spirit, because like, honestly, whatever I received in that time, yes, it did work out for me. No, it hasn't worked out for other people in other environments, but at the same time, it still feels like too little. And I understand, I think why this is happening is because like, I'm still like, and one of the reasons I talked about like still needing to rest and recover. But to be honest, like, where I'm coming up, I'm like, okay, like, I don't have time to rest and recover because like, I don't know where the money's going to come from this time. I don't know. Like, I feel like, and I've had this happen before where I've run out of resource. I think I've run out of resources, and then I find out, oh, I actually have access to like my locked in RSPs. Oh, I can, like, you know, bump my mortgage out. I can do that like once, maybe twice, but like, I'm running out of room to take off. It feels like that's what it feels like. And as a pilot, you can imagine that would be, you know, putting a pilot in your situation, like someone in real life, like that would be, you'd be freaking out. You'd be freaking out. I'm freaking out a little bit. And so in these moments when I go there, like, I'm going to give myself some rest. I'm going to have a fire tonight because I do like that. But honestly, I like it, but I don't. You know what I like? I would like an indoor fire. I don't like sitting out in cold air with a fire. I want an indoor fire. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, I'll have a fire. I can make the best of the fire. I wouldn't mind the fire. But in reality, I want a wood burning stove inside my house. Or I don't know. It's like, I'm kind of done settling. I'm kind of over with the settling part. And it's kind of like, is this acceptance or is this settling? And like, trying to figure out what is going on here, because yes, what can I do right now? Okay, so when I go through these periods like this, now what I look at is, okay, I don't have money. I don't have a lot of energy. What can I do? I don't want to overwork my system. You know, I don't want to go into my emotions. So, well, I've kind of like felt that moment. I went through it a little bit. And normally it's worse. So this is not so bad, right? So then I have to go into my logical mind. I've given myself some emotional time. And now I'm going to go into my logic. And I'm going to be naming off things. What can I actually do? What can I do in this moment? It's Sunday. I don't even know what day it is. It's Sunday. I'm not meeting anyone right now. There's no one in my space. So it's just me. That's my dogs. I feel a little pressure with them as well because like, we're limited. The one dog freaks out at everything. So it's like, taking him out is not fun. And I understand the more I take him out, the better it is. But like, I'm not in a place where I can take that on right now because I'm over everything. So to try to put myself in those dynamics right now where I'm like, oh, let's go for a walk. I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to take him for a walk. Like, I take them outside and stuff, but and I'm trying to get them stimulated by giving them bones and stuff, but I really don't, like, I've been caring for others for my whole entire life. I'm really struggling with caring for anybody, and I can barely figure it out for me. And so it's making it challenging, and that then brings in those emotions of guilt, because I'm like, okay, like, I have the dogs, they're my responsibility, I need to give them what they need, but I can barely provide for myself right now. So it's a struggle. Like, that's a mental mind game there, kind of like, working my way through that. And so, like, in this moment, I'm supposed to be doing something only for me, for me. What is that? I'm kind of done being, like, there's nothing I want to watch on TV. I just don't enjoy that anymore. It's like, I read books and I'm like, I don't, like, this is weird. It's like, once you've gotten to a point where you're just like, I can't relate anymore, because it just feels like some of these things that I was tied into, these social, the movies, it's hard to enjoy them, because it just, when you've experienced like the hands of abuse through these gray zones, these things that we laugh at that are actually not funny, these movies that we watch who have woven, horrible messages within them, it's really hard to enjoy that anymore. I don't enjoy that anymore. It's hard to watch anything, because like, it's always exploiting women's bodies, and it feels like, the message, it just kind of gets you to the ick factor. I'm just like, why are we exposing women's bodies all the time? Like, it feels so exploitative, and I just, so I have to really watch what I watch, because I just, I'm kind of over it. I like watching the Culinary Cup. I like watching cooking shows like that. But then it also kind of makes me think like about cooking, and I'm like, I don't have a lot of money right now to cook, and to be honest, I just don't have a lot of energy. Where I'm eating like salad and steak and shrimp. Am I gonna put it to a recipe? No, I'm not, because it feels like too much. Right now, I just need to focus on, like, because I'm trying to do I've already pulled things away from my plate, but the thing is, that plate is still full. That's what I'm trying to say. For what I'm capable and able to do right now, like, my plate, even though I've removed things, it still feels too full. That's the best way I can explain it. So what I like to eat is, like, I like to put things, I like bowls. I like those bowls that you get from like Mucho Burrito and things like that. I really like those, because the meal prep, once you do it, you have all these items that you can, pick and choose, and it feels bougie, and it feels like I'm being taken care of, and it feels like I'm getting something outside of myself, even though I did it. That makes me feel good. What else? Yeah, you see, like, it's hard. I've got books up there. I don't want to read them. I don't, and the problem I'm finding is, like, because it's really hard to relax when you don't know where the money is coming. And that's how the financial abuse fucks with you, because it really keeps you stuck, because, like, you're in that freeze mode of, like, where's the money coming from? And there's no sort of, like, how do you get justice for that? Because the environment that it happened in, they're all backing each other. And that's also why I don't back the enablers, because, like, fuck you. That's how I feel. Fuck you. And so this is kind of how I process stuff, to be honest. And what I'll do is I'll get frustrated, might have a cry, and then I rest. And then, like I said, I'll get back at it. I'll be like, obviously I can't stop. That's not an option. I'll clean. That makes me feel better. Sometimes I'll cook. I don't want to walk. I really don't. And that's what I mean. There's sometimes where I was like, I'm trying to balance all these things. I want to be exercised, but I don't want to do the exercise, because I'm already trying to move and gain momentum on my finances. So while I understand, for me, it's important to build my strength, and I want to, and working out does make me feel good. Right now, it's not a feel good for me. It feels like work. And so, like, that's where I'm not going to do it, because it feels like too much work right now, because especially the timing right now for me, I have to be really careful, because like I said, I can go back into freeze like that. So I don't know what else to say to that. That's where I'm at with that. Like I said, I'll get over it. I'll be okay. These when I experience this, I get through them faster and quicker, but at the same time, they're still happening. You know, I'm putting out tons of content. I'm smiling. I'm happy. I'm happy when I'm doing the content. I love providing it for people. I love connecting with people. But I think it's important to show the other side of things, that what I'm experiencing on the other side of the camera. Well, I don't enjoy crying in front of people. I also feel like there's a need to convey like what happens alongside with so people know what to expect. So the people aren't just like, oh, I must be doing this wrong. No, it's hard, and it that's why I do it what I do, because I felt like because I've had to do this by myself. Oh, see, that can feel, I can feel it. Well, I see, that's the thing. Well, I understand, like, people, we're meant to experience challenge to grow. We get pressed to grow, but this is more than that. This has been abuse. This has been targeting. That is not growing energy. That is stagnation. And while it's helped me to process that, because it's an expectation. There's always going to be haters out there. So I did have to prepare myself. I did have to get good at this. I had to build up those sort of calluses, because you know what, when this started happening before, like, I didn't know how to deal with it, and I think I was just ignoring it. And now I'm like, well, this is part of my path. I have to learn how to do this. You know what, it would have been nice if I was taught this as a child. I was not. I was broken down constantly. I was stepped on to make my family members feel better and bigger, and my community members to do that. You know, people around me did that, passive aggressive, to try to make me doubt myself, never supporting, make me feel unseen. That's fucked up. For what? You know, I'd like to know. I'd like to know. They won't come around. They won't tell me. I'd like to know why they felt they did that. Oh, I just did it because of this. Well, you know what? It doesn't really, no, that's not okay. No, because I've been through pain, and I've been hurt, and I'm still here, right? For strangers. I'm here for strangers. Isn't that fucked up? Your family couldn't be there for you, but I'm here. And because you know why? Because I've experienced the pain. So it makes me wonder too, these people that are like wearing this costume of, I'm just such a victim and I've been through pain, and that's why, you know, I was in that childhood too. Were you though? Were you? Because, like, I've been through it, and I can empathize with other people because I've been through it. And I just don't know where they're coming from anymore. And I don't need to know. I really don't care anymore. That's what this is. The more I struggle on my own, that's what's helping me move from the emotional place to the more logical place. Like, because I get more clarity, the more I grow, I get more clarity on, like, because I used to feel sorry for these people, and now I'm like, no, I think if you experience the amount of pain I did, you would be reacting like I do. So I think you were actually promoted as a child. Well, I think you experienced some challenges with my father. I'm not going to ignore that. But, like, you did something different with it. And it's not empowerment. You instead went the other way. You chose the other door. You chose to hurt people to feel big. And so, like, there's no sort of, like, connection here. There's no sort of, like, I can't rock with people like that anymore. I really am, you know, like, if you, they require you to, like, keep coming back to them because you're family. But, like, you're family and they couldn't support you. That's messed up. That's a messed up. So, like, it's interesting. I recently had support from a couple strangers just for no reason. And even as I put my content out here, like, I'm giving something and I'm receiving. And so that is feeling better. That is feeling good. Like I said, it's challenging because I'm not, like, it's not like I don't appreciate that. It's just I'm challenged right now because I'm still going without, and the timing that is coming up for me is making me feel uncertain and scared. And that's human. That's human. You know, I don't know I don't pull cards for the future because I don't believe, that has not worked for me in the past. And to me, I feel like that can really lead you down the wrong path. And so for me, it's, that's why in my videos, I try to share, like, what I'm seeing along the way to let you know, like, where I'm at and what this means. And that's why I send back that information, because it's like, okay, when I knew this is happening for me because I was doing this at the time. So if you're not doing this, if you haven't experienced this, then this reading might not be for you. And there's some of my previous readings were like that, where they're stating like, you know what, you know if this is you because you can no longer go back to that door. You can no longer go back to that. You know you need to rest because you feel the need to jump right back up. And in reality, you're meant to surrender and rest in order to get clarity, because when you jump up, like you're ready and you're kind of like chariot mode, but like you don't know what direction you're moving in, and it's going to be an emotional decision instead of a logical one, and those end up in destruction and like having to like dig yourself deeper. You're digging yourself a deeper hole when you react out of emotion. And so that's why I feel like this is important to make this video. It's a long video, it's longer than I thought. I'm going to cut it off, but hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if you're experiencing this. And like I said, it's not to say like spiritual beliefs are like all bad. I just think it's important to like take them with a grain of salt and acknowledge where like this is wonderful, but that's why emotions are so important. And I've mentioned negative emotions. These are the ones where I feel like can be misleading too, where they put your head up in the clouds and this is great. And I think it's helpful if it's helping you stay motivated and building momentum. But also like I'm very aware of my reality right now and what that could look like, and I'm not willing to just settle on some sort of hope that spirit has me, because honestly these trust falls that spirit has been designing, if that's what's happening, I mean honestly they're fucking rough as fuck, and they could definitely be designed better. And so that's where I'm kind of like, you know what, this is where maybe I've put too much control into the divine, and where I need to like, yeah, trust and surrender is one thing in order to like relieve the pressure of ourself and you know, check in with ourselves. But I think it's also important to like recognize, you know what, I don't know what this looks like, and this is where I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G lined up and prepared, because anytime I've made a plan in the past, it has not gone to plan. And you know you're in this energy, like when I know I'm in this energy because my vision, if it looks like something I've seen in a movie, for me, that is not life. My life has been Jerry Springer, closer to that, where you're just like, where the fuck are these people coming from and why are they doing what they're doing? It feels very Jerry Springer and not like a fairy tale. And so if you feel like you're envisioning a fairy tale, like you think that somebody's just going to come back and save you in the nick of time, if you think like that person is all of a sudden going to realize your value and your worth out of nowhere, that is where I recognize I am in delusion. These people, this is like when I come to these trust falls, you're like, oh, maybe that person, maybe they've recognized like they've seen the predator for who they are. No, they haven't, because that would mean they have to acknowledge that they're wrong, and they lack accountability. So just remember that. That's part of the validation period too, is like, you know, wanting to be seen for your value and feeling like I put myself out there. Look, I put all my readings out there. You know, these people, you know, they're stalkers out there. You know, they're going to view your content, but in reality, I don't even think they're watching, because that would mean that you would be getting some sort of, you know, content tick. You know, they would be giving you a view. They don't want to give you a view. I think people stalk you through your Facebook page. I think they stalk you by driving by your house. I don't think they're watching my content because, I mean, they could be in the way that if they thought that they're going to try to like steal my tips and tricks, but in reality, they act, anything I say, like you still have to put into action. You can't just come here and not do the work. Like these emotions that I'm putting myself through are uncomfortable. They're not fun. I've been here before and I'll be here again. And that's how the process works until I get to my place to, you know, my spot to a more secure position, you know. And that's why like it does get easier, it does get better, but at the same time it's still like you can't just jump into this and be like, yep, I processed my emotions, done. Like I've shed tears for a number of years, and while I like to rhyme, that was not intentional, but it didn't just happen overnight. I've been sad for a long time. Oh, you know, yeah, I've been sad for a long time. I think it's important, you know, when I talk about speaking on things, that's why I think it's important to speak on things. Because I'm still holding, there's still a residual, there's still something there. I've said this before, I've acknowledged this before. And this is the problem with toxic spirituality, when you just think things are always going to work out and things are always going to happen for you and things are always going to be easy, or, you know, the divine's going to carry you. I have not experienced that. I've experienced some bumpy roads, some very bumpy transitions, and trust falls, and all of them have been hard. Am I glad they worked out? Yeah, but were they easy? No. None of them have been easy. None of them have been easy. None of them. None of this has been easy. And so the longer you stay on the path and you heal, while you also become aware of other people and their bullshit, it also doubles down on why you don't want to deal with those people anymore. Like if you needed another reason, this is why. Because I'm by myself, sitting in a house that is unfinished, needs some cleaning. It's not bad, but it needs cleaning. Trying to build something all on my own while I'm still trying to maintain my home. I've got 2 kids that are in their early 20s, but I'm the only family and parent available. And they do have their own, friend groups, so that's wonderful. But nobody was here. Nobody was here to help. And if they think that I'm going to be sharing what I provide for myself and gain for myself, that's a bubble they're going to have to pop. that's a bubble they're going to have to pop. And maybe they think, like I said, I don't think they watch my content, so I don't think they pick up on some of this shit. I think they think I'm a love and light kind of individual, and I've never rocked with that statement. To be honest, it felt off to me, because like for me, a lot of my healing and spiritual belief systems, the spiritual belief systems have been some of the things I've struggled with because they've really got me stuck. And it was in the dark moments where I've had the most growth and realizations and clarity. The sadness is what is motivating me too. It's like I'm just like, I don't want to be sad anymore, which means I don't want to deal with people like that anymore. And recognizing that it wasn't just me having depression, but it was the people around me and the path that I was choosing. That's why I don't believe in, these medications for depression, because like for me, I was like, you know what, you take that pill, you're still in that environment, you're still around those people, you're still accepting the bad behavior. So like the acceptance is, yes, this sucks, but the acceptance is also those people are who they are. Like, I can't change them, right? I don't know. So I'm going to close off because I feel like I might be rambling now. But like I said, I hope this is helpful. And it's a long weekend. Oh, okay. So like the weekends hit harder for me, especially the long weekends. Even before I got into like content creation, I found the long weekends and holidays to be the hardest, because when I created boundaries with these people, like while I didn't like being with them, it was hard being alone, because it just felt like there's so much time and space to myself, and I didn't know. And like I said, that's the point. That's the hermit mode, because that's where the realizations come in. That's where the honesty hits. The honesty, this is not good enough. I am still sad. This is not good enough. You know what? Maybe this joy and play works for someone, but for me, yes, I have to recognize what makes me feel good. So is that joy? I don't know. But for me to just sit and let things accumulate and say they'll still be there for later, that partially that's true. But like right now, I just don't, like I'll rest when I want to rest, and I'll recognize when I'm tired. But like for me, picking up and cleaning up and organizing and removing more things that I'm never going to use, like I just don't even think I'm going to have friends over to my house ever again. I just don't. I used to have board games because for the kids and stuff. And then I would think, like, if I ever find the people that I want to spend time with, I have games. And I'm like, I don't know if I even need to keep those games anymore. It kind of, I go through my house, like, revising it as well. Like, what do I, like, the clutter, like, why do I have these things? Why do I have these books? Do I actually want to read them? Like, there's things where I get for content creation and things like that. But I'm like, I don't even know if I, like, do I really want to do that? Am I doing that because I don't feel enough and I have to do more? And those are the things that I process. And then I start to remove and minimalize, and it does feel good because it does make it easier to clean. But I also am like, am I preparing to move to a trailer? That's a real thought. Like, in this revision period, I'm like, my house is looking emptier and emptier. Mind you, it is a tiny house. And so sometimes I'm like, maybe like it's going to feel bigger because I have too much furniture and too much things in it, right? And I also think, well, maybe the less things I have to work around, it's easier to clean. But then when the time comes to renovate it, there'll be less things to move. So that's how I process things as well. I kind of, I don't want to go too dark sometimes. I'm like, maybe this is this, and maybe it's not. Maybe I am getting. So I prepare. I prepare for whatever is coming at me. That's the only way I can do it, because I don't know. So I try to think of like, what are the options, instead of being like, this is never going to happen for me, this isn't working. I'd be like, well, I don't know if I can do this in time. I don't know if I can do this. And so like, in the meantime, what can I do? I can organize. I can, I look for, if I have to move, what would be things that I don't want to carry with me? Okay, well, why don't I want to take those things with me? Well, I'm probably not using them. So maybe I need to get those out of my house so I can declutter. And like, maybe it might not be the fact that I'm moving, but the fact that I'm removing things that I no longer like find joy in. That I really, kind of like, what is that Mary Kondo, who's like, do you feel joy in those things? And I think that could be part of the process. Like, what do I feel attached to for some of these items? And for me, because for me, I enjoy a minimalist environment, not just to clean, but I like to be able to find places for things. I like storage for things, and that's what makes me feel good and calm and peaceful. And so I notice there's like, for me, I really am struggling right now, because you can't see it, but in my videos, like, I've got everything at the table here. And because like, when I work in my smaller bedrooms, while I painted them dark colors, and I love the color, it's not the color, it's the room, and the like, I'm trying to figure out how I want to do my content. And I would like a space, for my content. And because I can't fit it all in one room, but I want it all in one room. And then I'm like, you know what? That window is not bad. It's not a bad window, but this window out here is way better. It's so much brighter. I'm like, it's more light in my living room and dining room, but like, I have a whole basement that's empty, but I can't use it. And then it's, it kind of gets frustrating, because I'm like, I just want a space where I can put everything in one room with the right amount of like, organization, so I know where to find it, I know where to put it, and that makes me feel good. And so, and then I like to have a dining table, because I want to sit at my dining table. I have chairs there, and I don't like them because they're overly large chairs, and I would like those kind of bucket cloth chairs that fit under the table, but wide enough for me to sit, kind of like this chair, but at the dining table, because I want to sit cross-legged at my dining table. That's what I want. Does it sound odd? Yeah, but is it pretty simple? Yeah, also, yeah. I don't, it's not like I need like those chairs cost a lot of money, unfortunately, but it's not the style of the chair, it's not the updated of the chair, it's the fact that that's how I want to sit at my table. And I might look at a bench, but I don't know. I kind of want what I want. So like, those are things that all come up for me, and it helps me to also recognize more of what I want and what I don't want. And then it helps me to like recognize like where I've also been settling, and I need to stop buying used items, because I'm sick of buying shit, and I'd rather wait and save my money to buy what I really want. And so that's part of my processing too, and that helps with the finances. So you see, like, all these things are like things that I'm picking up and processing through the emotion and the questioning, instead of the blind follow, the blind trust, the blind like, this is what I have to do. Like, and this is where I picked up some, like I said, some glitches in these spiritual belief systems, where I don't know exactly who came up with some of these things. It's kind of like the Bible, like, who came up with the Bible, because there's some really fucked up teachings in there, and because Jesus's name has sponsored that book, we're just supposed to rock with it. And that's where I'm like, no, I don't. And that's also led me down my path of like wondering, like, it's put me through my filters of my faith and what I believe in, and like what I don't believe in anymore, and like, what is God capable of? Is there a God? Is there a God? Like, I understand the planet is here, I understand like nature is one, something created this, and it's beautiful. But the same thing that created my garden out there and those flowers is not the same thing that is threatening a death by flames if you don't frickin' obey. Do you see? Like, all these things are what have come up in these periods of time of my hermit. All these clarities. And so like, it's helpful, and it's part of the process, and it's necessary. But nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. Do you want to hear that? It's a necessary part of the process. I don't know. Maybe that's helpful. I don't know. But let me tell you, this has not been some sort of like delulu, wonderful, ride down a beautiful stream filled with unicorns and fucking epiphanies and like angels. I mean, I'm not saying the angels aren't there, but like when you're alone, that's not, sometimes that's not good enough. Sometimes the belief in angels, like that's not good enough. Oh, you're never alone. You know what? Shut up. Because you know what? I'm here and I'm alone and I'm doing all the work down here. And while you're giving guidance up above, the guidance is shit sometimes. Let me tell you, the directions are horrible. So, you know, take credit, because when you're doing the work, like this is where I get frustrated too. Like I'm supposed to give credit to God for all the shit that I've been doing down here. Well, God kept you alive. Okay, but so did I, you know, so did I. And like God gave me guidance, but I had to figure it out. Like it's like God gave me a fucking like code and I had to like decode it. It wasn't like he just said do this and I'm like, oh, okay. Like no, I had to decode this shit. I had to trial and error. What does it mean when I get the guidance to have joy and play? Oh, you're just supposed to kick back and relax. Really? Can you explain how I do that? You know, and it's just like you just do it. No, you don't. And that's where, so in that process is also how I learned to recognize people who have been where I've been. Because like, if you can't tell me how you did that, what that experience was, and like, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of mentors and leaders out there that are just taking other people's information, putting it through their own words, you know, their own style, but they don't know how to tell you how they actually did it. And it made me, that's where it started questioning like people who are like talking about the twin flame journeys and they're talking about spiritual belief systems and they're like, just do it. And just, oh, somebody out there has a crush on you. Probably not. My legs are not shaved right now. My hair is all split. I didn't have a shower. I didn't wash I had a body shower. I didn't have a hair. My hair is greasy. I'm pretty sure that, and if there is somebody out there who is looking at me like, oh, that's a girl of my dreams. Like for me, my experiences, usually those are people that need me to help them. You know, that's what my experience has been. Somebody who looks up to me is like someone who is in need of me. I don't want that. I've raised my kids. I don't want an adult child. And so to me, I'm just like, that's probably not true. And so like, that's where like those readings, it feels good in the moment. It sounds wonderful. It sounds wonderful. But in reality, I am not having anyone knock at my door right now. And there's no one reaching out to me. And if they reach out, it's kind of like I had someone on Facebook who's like they commented on something I commented on. They're like trying to like promote them. Well, I've been through this and women have been like this. Poor me. Feel sorry for me. Are you attracted? Are you attracted? Like, you want to help me now? You want to date me? And like, not that those words came up, but it's kind of like what they're oozing, their perfume, like their essence is like, you know, like poor me. I've had bad experience with women, and I sense that you're empathetic and caring, so I think I can use that, you know, my victim mentality to like get you to take care of me. That's what it feels like. So do I think anyone's out there? I mean, stalker, I really, I mean, I do think some people are, but it's for very different reasons. I don't think it's because someone's out there watching me like, oh my God, what is she up to? Oh my God, she looks so good today. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying it's just like something I don't invest in. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it can't be true. I'm just not investing in it. I'm like sitting there like wondering, like, who could that be? You know, it's just not, I no longer go there. I used to be there. I used to think, wow, that's exciting. See, that's exciting. That's exciting, but it's delusional. I just don't have time to run through these emotional gauntlets anymore. And that's what these were for me. That's what these delusional, and I'm not saying they're entertaining. That's what they're meant for. You know, it's when life gets too painful, like I can't focus, like I need a break from it. And so that's where they have value. I'm not saying it's just at some point that will no longer work. At some point, those comforts, those delusions, those escapism, is that what you would call it? Like those will only work for so long. And then that's when I had to get real. I'm like, yeah, this is not working. This advice is not helpful. I am not finding that. This is not like, I don't know what you're talking about there, but when and then so like that's what I mean. It's hard to take those people serious because it's like they're talking about situations that don't really ring true. um, from me walking this path this far. And so it makes me wonder how far they got on their path before they settled. And now they just kind of like pull stuff out of the air to like, this sounds like this could happen. I mean, this could happen. It could happen, but is it happening? Probably not. So that's kind of how I go. I don't know. I'm going to stop. Uh, I am going to stop because I made it. I think I have a herbal coffee. See, herbal coffee and nut milk. I don't want this. I want a coffee, but I can't have a coffee. You see, it's frustrating. So I'm gonna grieve that. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this is the best cup of non-coffee. You know, is it a great substitute? Sure it is. Am I getting better with it? Yeah. If I could I have coffee right now? No, because dairy does not work well for me, and neither does caffeine. So it's kind of like the acceptance part. I think it applies in different areas, and when you start to become more aware of like this is better than the other thing, it's not the best, but it's better, then that's kind of, I think, the point of the project. And where like I'm not at the meditative part yet, sitting out in the garden trying to find joy. Trying to find joy. It sounds funny while I sit out there, and I'm like, this is why. So like, I wish I had a. I'm not gonna stop. Sorry. I wish I had a privacy fence, because honestly, like, I just sit out there and I just feel like, I'm sure no one's watching me because they have their own life, but I feel exposed in the way that I'm sitting here and I'm trying to find enjoyment in this moment. I'm by myself. I'm trying to promote this as a path that is beneficial, right? And like, it's part of the process, but it's like, I wish I just had some privacy. Like, I crave privacy. I didn't really I didn't get it as a child. And when people choose to stalk you and invade your privacy that way, that is to a certain extent shitty. And yeah, it just it would be nice just to have my own. I would love my own space. I look on Realtor often, and there's a house I'm looking on there, and it's $999,000. And some people are like, oh, that's a good number, is it? Anyways, it's everything. The view is beautiful. There's only one neighbor. It's a gorgeous home, and it's like 3 point something acres, and I already love it. Is it more grass to cut? Yes. So that's more work, right? But I'm like, is that, like, to me, I feel like my system is being overworked when I can, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then like a little, like, if I were to see, if I did one of those things that count how many houses are in this picture, when you have to, authenticate yourself, like, I think the actual answer would have to be like 15 houses I can see. I mean, that makes sense because like it's a street, and that, like, if I go on my lawn and see like how many, like, there's a lot, right? And that's norm. That makes sense. Like, that's what we have to accept at some point, right? But when you've been through experiences where you have been stalked, you've had parents that are micromanagers, and they feel the need to like review you all the time, and you just want peace and space, and just like nobody around you. And it's like, that sounds lonely sometimes, but at the same time, like, that's kind of what comes from this trauma at times, is like the targeting, the mean girls. Like, people don't talk about that part where it's just like, I just want to be alone. Like, I do just want to be alone at times. Like, I want to be around the right people, but right now I just want to be alone, where it's just like, because I just haven't had that. It's like, I feel like there's certain layers where I'm starting to exhale more and more, but I'm not there yet. I'm definitely not there yet. And I love working in my garden. I'm getting better at like not caring about what other people think. Don't get me wrong, but I come to the conclusion, like, it just feels like a preference at this point too. Like, I used to think it was just because of what I've experienced, but I'm like, no, that would be a preference, and I just don't think it's possible, because I'm like, well, then I might at some point have to hire someone to cut the lawn, because I really don't like I hate cutting the lawn. I hate cutting the lawn. If I had a riding lawnmower and I had more time in my day, I might enjoy it, because that makes it more fun. That would be fun, driving around like it's like a go-kart, right? So I think that would be fun, but that's not my experience right now. And like, so that's kind of where I had to bring my delusion down, because like, obviously I don't have that money. And well, it's nice to dream about, and it's motivating to get me moving. I also have to be aware of where I'm not actually expecting that as an outcome. And there are times where I did. So that's growth. See, it's growth. Sometimes some of these times are good to like remember of like, you know what? I'm aware that that is not my reality. Things are pretty uncomfortable right now, and I'm scared right now. And so to look at my situation directly on that can be scary. I mean, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I had to do what I had to do. I couldn't have stayed there. So that's also like, you know, that's the thing is like some people like, well, they won't understand what you've been through, and they're like, well, don't you think that's like what you did there? Like you took care of yourself. Don't you think that's like, I mean, you don't have a job now. You could have lost your house. And people, I get that all the time, where it's like people are like judging me for the choices that I made. But I'm like, if I carried on in that environment and ignored the abuse and tolerated it, like I don't know what that looks like either. Like I literally had to get out of there. Both times I literally had no choice but to leave. And I don't know if, and you don't know unless you know. Like unless you've been there. Like I've been in freeze positions before where like I had no choice but to freeze. And I've gotten to the point where in those moments, both times, I was talking to someone about this, like my hands were shaking the whole time while I was standing up for myself. In a most recent, I had to kick back at, or, you know, yeah, is that what you call it? Kick back at someone on Facebook because she was trying to target me and I recognized her exactly what she was doing. And while I was writing that, I was shaking and I was like, you know what? That's fucked up. That's been my norm. That's not just like a once in a while thing. That has been my norm. That is weird to like acknowledge. And so like when people are like, well, don't you think that's kind of risky, like leaving that job? Well, don't you think it's kind of risky staying there? Like if you know what this kind of treatment and abuse does to a human being on the large scale of things, and that's the thing, it's not recognized. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to recognize it. And so like it's like I feel like, well, it is happening. It's better. My algorithm, I can see it in my algorithm, but in real life, I don't see it, to be honest, and my neighbors, and like I just don't see it. And I think that makes it even harder when I'm, like I said, when I'm walking this path, I'm like, I don't see people making the same choices in the same situations that I'm in. Like I said, it feels like there's other people that still have some sort of support, financial aid or something. And like I said, I've had it, and some people could say the same about me. Like you, at least you had locked in RSPs. Some people like, I don't even have that. So like that's where I guess that's that way, but at the same time, like it's limited, and it still came from my pocket. That wasn't the government, that was my pocket. I'm heavily taxed on that. I'm losing money from taking that out. It's not like it's a bonus, you know, windfall of money like a lottery. Like I have to pay taxes on that. That counts as my income. It's not free money. So yeah, okay, now I'm really done. So like I said, be sure to like and subscribe if you found this helpful. I think I can do a couple more of these because I enjoy doing the readings and I think it can be helpful in some ways. I also think this is helpful too. So I'll know if I see any likes or comments or whatever, but I'll still probably do it anyways because I think that, like I'm offering up what I found helpful on my path, and that's what I want to offer to you guys to help recognize where like this is not just happening to you. This is, you know, on a whole, people experience this. I'm going through this, and this is the reality of my situation. So I'm scared too. I just don't see a way. Like it's just I don't know. This is my reality. It's not always easy. I was reviewing my photos, my videos, and I'm like I'm smiling a lot in the thumbnails, and that's wonderful that I'm, you know, because I'm happy, because I'm in my line of service that I feel best in. But like at the same time, like I said, like service with no support can be a really challenging place because like I said, I'm scared too. I'm living this too. I'm out here being targeted too. It's not like I'm on camera and what I'm doing erases, you know, external targeting and things like that. And things don't just show up for me. Sometimes they do, but it's not without a lot of stress on my end and worrying and waiting for that to, like, while I'm working on that, I'm not there. You know, I still fall into these traps too. So I just want you to know, like, I'm there too. And hopefully this helps you in your path of healing and becoming more elevated and more prosperous, because that's what we're going for. Okay, thanks for watching and take care.